Hello, YouTube. Welcome in. We're watching some Bobby Duke arts. And today, we're watching him make... let me shift this over just a little bit. There we go. Don't know why that was nudged over so much. Alright. But we are watching Bobby Duke making copper roses with no experience. YouTube, don't listen to me. Now, listen to me. Run away. Stop that, you. All right, let's get to watching.
So, the reason I want...
Such a man. Such a manly man of wonderful manliness. I love this man. Bali, Bali, Bali. Stop it. Thank you for the hugs, though. Much appreciated.
Want to make a copper rose is not only because it's cool and beautiful and will make a great gift, but because I want to make what I want to see, and what I want to see is a copper rose. I also don't know what I'm doing, which is a great way to start a...
So by copper rose, you mean a... Ow. Hi, Blaze. So by copper rose, do you mean like a rose that's made of copper, or a rose that is kind of like coated in copper? Because I don't know either way. Either way sounds cool. I don't know how you would do the second one, but and based on what I'm looking at here, it's the former. Rose made of copper, probably. True.
Project. Also, check this out. Been experimenting with firing dirt dauber nests. Isn't that cool?
The hell? Firing what? That looks like a weird wasp. What is that thing? Y'all in the Texas area, what is that thing? Firing them? Are they made of clay? I guess? I am a hobby metalsmith and have made steel roses. It's the former. Oh. Okay. Dirt dauber? Let's listen to that one more time.
Also, check this out. Been experimenting with firing dirt dauber nests.
Yeah, dirt daubers. Okay. Uh-huh. The earth is that? I don't know, man. What is a dirt dauber? Okay. A mud dauber. Mud daubers are... Okay, mud dauber is a name commonly applied to a number of wasps from either the family of yada yada yada, which build their nests from mud. This excludes members of the family yada yada Vespidae, which are instead referred to as potter wasps. Huh. So they're literally wasps that make their nests out of mud and clay. That's cool. So yeah, he's finding these nests and he's firing them. That's cool.
Isn't that cool? They like build little pots for you. You just have to like destroy their house to make little trinkets. It's awesome.
Yeah. Gotta love humans.
I don't know all the materials I'll be using and or all the tools yet, because I haven't done it. So make sure to watch to the end, and I'll put a list and also links to everything that you will need to make this yourself. And you totally should. Make this yourself, because no one's going to do.
They're wasps. Who cares? Do we really have to, though, destroy the wasp too? No, I'm sure there's some benefit for a wasp in the animal kingdom. He gives a bit of a Steve MRE energy. I'm not sure I know that person. Wasps are only pain.
Do it for you. Unless you get it as a gift. So disregard what I just said. Okay, after a vast amount of thinking, I think the best way to go about cutting these out of these thin sheets of copper is not with the tin snips or the metal shears or whatever, but with this.
Oh, it's a, well, he's about to say what it's called. It's kind of like a bandsaw.
This is a scroll saw. It's a reciprocating...
Oh, Mr. Fancy Pants, Mr. Scroll Saw. It's basically a bandsaw. but it just kind of goes up and down really fast.
And this will actually cut copper, because copper is pretty soft of a metal. So I'm going to roughly cut out all the patterns that I will be putting in the description for you to download if you so desire.
Oh, speaking of which, there you go. If y'all want to actually go check out the video, make sure you go give them a like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. I'll be in the description as well for you on YouTube. But go do that. Go check out the pattern if you want to make your own copper rose. I might look into that in the future, but I've got too much on my plate right now to give it a try. One of these days, though.
Then I would
have almost assumed you'd want to keep that on. I don't know why. It just feels like something that you would want to keep on, but maybe it... Just for the cutting process, right? Yeah, soft enough you can cold work. Yeah.
Some spray adhesive to glue them all onto the sheets. I also did a test to see if I could get away with gluing it directly to the plastic coating. That way I could skip removing the adhesive from the copper later on.
Oh, okay,
then
I see.
I see a glue.
So he was doing... Okay. So he was actually thinking of doing that. Okay, I got it. I get it.
Glued those onto some 1/8" MDF board to act as a backer, because if I tried cutting them out using the scroll saw without it, it's highly likely that the thin sheets of copper would catch the blade, flop around, and overall be a real douche.
And potentially cut you the hell up. But also, we don't want douche flour. Douche flowers are rude.
So now that that's done, we're going to roughly cut out each sheet so that they're easier to handle. And now I will attempt to entice you to watch this video till the end by telling you that I will be giving away this exact rose to one of you who follows the directions at the end of the video. I'm totally serious.
Guys, I'm sorry to say, but this was almost a week ago. You might have lost your chance.
It's a win-win. You watch a cool video that will hopefully inspire you to start a rewarding project, and...
Which, honestly, if that is what you need to do as a, debt-free... I'm sorry, Luna! Why didn't you watch it soon? I don't know! Why didn't you? But yes, as a content creator, this is our job. This is your job. We are here in order to show you guys fun things, to get you excited to do your own fun things. Whether we're doing that fun thing, we're showing off people who are doing that fun thing and talking about it and doing that sort of thing. I try to do both, but I tend to fall into the showing other people doing fun things that you might have not have seen. Yay!
Possibly be given an original Bobby Duke, and I get an algorithmic boost, which helps me keep my job. Yay! Anyways, what I learned while cutting out the pieces is that it cuts pretty much like anything else you would cut out on a scroll saw, but I did notice that without some downward pressure close to the blade on the ones that I glued the pattern directly to the plastic, it sometimes wants to
banana
pop up, and then you have to like re-glue it down, but still, I think the time saving of not having to remove the glue from the copper is worth it. Now that we have all of our pieces cut out, we're going to need to drill a hole in the center. And the size bit you select should be the same or slightly larger than the diameter of the wire you'll be using for the stem. Also,
which makes sense, because you want to actually feed it through, right?
a good idea to leave the wooden backer on because it makes a cleaner hole that is also easier to drill. Continue using the same drill bit for all the flower sections.
Because if you were to try to drill through it like he's doing right now, you would be drilling into your cement floor, which would probably ruin your drill bit.
Except for the star-shaped piece. It needs to be a slightly smaller drill bit for reasons that you will see later on. Okay, now that that's done, we're gonna poop off the little wooden back from the flowers. And while you're at it, go ahead and remove the wood from the leaves, but leave the paper.
Watch that again.
While you're at it, go ahead and remove the wood from the leaves.
And up he goes.
But leave the paper. And then I'm going to take what's called as a, well, actually, I think
I love this man so much. He's such a shit post.
This is just called a cross peen hammer. And we're gonna whack all the petals radiating out. So you want lines radiating out from the center. We're gonna whack them all the way around.
We're gonna whack him. We're gonna bonk him.
Until you just create little divots all the way around. Like that. Also, after I did all of the petals, I went ahead and did sort of a back and forth pattern along the edge of that star-shaped piece to make it look a little more leafy. Just don't go too crazy, because you will work harden the copper and then it can crack. The way you deal with that is you just blast it with a torch until it gets glowing red hot. Or alternately, you can use the power of 6 hydrocoptic Marsal veins so fitted to the ambiphased lunar wane shaft that side fumbling was effectively prevented. Then you
Huh? What were the words that were coming out of your mouth, buddy? I'm scared.
dunk it in some water, and what that
Science? Yeah, sure.
does is it anneals the copper, aka makes it soft and gooey. And the reason we want to anneal it is because later on we're going to be bending them, and we don't want them to develop a big stinky crack.
Cracks are stinky. Truth.
You know, like a bottom.
Ha!
Oh no, but
He really likes his burp jokes.
now it's ugly. So, in order to de-uglify it, we're gonna buffet them on a wire wheel, then polish, and that's going to accomplish
Don't forget to buffet your roses, people. It's very important that you buffet them.
two things. It's going to deburr the sharp edges, but also shiny, beautiful, and
Okay, those are very pretty. Those are really pretty, actually.
delicious. Like that. You may have noticed my garage looking moderately clean in the background of this video. Well, it didn't look like that at the beginning of the year. It was...
Yeah, I was about to say, the last few times I've watched his videos, like even the last time we watched his video, his workshop was quite chaotic. And I was basically attributing that to his recording style, because he likes to just throw things at the camera and just throw himself into his workspaces, causing a bunch of mess. But yeah, no, now that I notice, look at it, that things are looking very clean and proper and put together. A little less chaotic of a video, which is funny, which is fine. I like his extremely chaotic stuff, but I can also understand that could probably get a little tiresome to do after a bit.
totally
Well, let's see what
destroyed, which made me feel really bad about myself and also gave me a lot of anxiety. But thankfully, this video sponsor, BetterHelp, has helped me connect with a therapist that's given me the tools to work through things that have been holding me back. And one of those things is when I'm like in a flow state, I get tunnel vision and don't notice the absolute disaster building up around me. But therapy has helped me learn to confront those tasks that seem monumental and break them down mentally into manageable chunks that turn even the biggest problems into something doable.
So, I am so on the fence with BetterHelp. Like, on one hand, it is giving a service that is extremely important. People need that. If you are struggling with mental instability, some depression, anxieties, anything like that, please find a professional to talk to. But on the other hand, I do have a small problem with BetterHelp in the fact that they don't exactly have the best track record for professionalism, is the one thing. Obviously, for Bobby Duke has been sponsored by these people for years, like literally years, almost as long as I've been watching his channel. And I think I found him pretty close to the beginning of when he opened his channel up. He's been pretty well sponsored the entire time by BetterHelp. So, and he's always talked about how much it's helped him. So obviously it can work. I'm just not a fan of, once again, the shoddy professionalism that tends to pop up in the in the news, I guess. like the internet news. I mean, could be just people gassing up problems that aren't actually a thing. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I'm glad that it works for him. And once again, if you guys need any help, BetterHelp might be the answer. If not, find some sort of counseling, get yourself psychiatric help and all that. Like, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of you wanting to be better.
The reasons I recommend BetterHelp is how ridiculously easy and convenient it is. You just fill out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. You can also easily switch therapists anytime at no cost if they are not the right fit for you. So join me and the 6 million plus other people who've been helped by BetterHelp, and click the link down in the description, or you can go to betterhelp.com/BobbyDukeArts and get 10% off your first month of therapy.
Getting it is a sign of having the money to afford it. True. And that is another thing that I'm not a fan of with BetterHelp, is that it's a subscription service. It's another subscription service, which is already rough. And for a lot of people, that's part of the reason why they struggle to get help in the first place, or why they're in such a problematic situation to begin with, is because money sucks. It has always sucked. And will always suck. So having to, pay for a service that's supposed to be helping you get through those little anxieties is turning it into an anxiety on its own. However, there are usually, options in the world that will give you the way to actually, get that help for a cheaper price. I'm Canadian, so a lot of that stuff is free up here for me. It's just really a struggle to get in with those. I don't know how bad it is down the States. I've heard lots of people getting help fairly easily, but I don't know. I don't know the whole works of it. So I apologize, I can't help. If I can find anything, I'll throw something up, but every state is different.
Oh, now that that's done, we're going to need to add in all the details to the leaves. I don't want these just to have lines in them. I want them to be
Okay, enough of the serious stuff. Let's go into the fun crafting stuff.
3-dimensional. And I'm going to use a technique. I'm pretty sure it's a French word, like repoussoir or something. Hold on. That's how it's...
Repousse? Repousse? Repose? Is it a repose? I don't know that word.
Pronounced.
Repousse or repousse.
Well, let's go with repousse.
Repousse.
And basically what that is,
I don't think he was
hammering a malleable
I don't think he was expecting that to happen.
metal from the back to create volume in specific areas, and when combined with a similar but opposite technique called chasing, where it's hammered from the front to refine and add details, you can create some beautiful 3-dimensional patterns and designs. You also, it's kind of a specialized, you need some specialized tools, which we don't have and we're not going to get, like this pitch, stuff called pitch. It's basically made out of like
a tar. Oh. Primary purpose of pitch. Holds the metal in place and provides backing resistance. When you hammer or push in tools to raise shapes, the pitch resists from behind, allowing the metal to stretch and deform gradually and evenly without tearing or buckling. Also, without it, the piece tends to jump around or move with each hammer blow. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's kind of like a tar. I think most people will use pitch for like asphalt and that sort of thing, like working in with sidewalks or your driveway and that sort of thing. There you go.
Anyways, it's made out of a black gooey stuff mixed with some other stuff.
Red and green,
and it's really expensive and I don't have it, so we're not going to use that. We're going to use, first thing I'm going to try is a piece of wood and just a scrap piece of copper that I drew on roughly the same pattern as our leaf. And we're gonna take the screwdrivers that I modified. I just took some regular screwdrivers and rounded over any sharp corners so it's nice and smooth, because that could dig in and actually just cut through.
Here's a perfect example and a perfect call to action for people who keep on saying, I don't have the tools in order to make something happen. He didn't have the tools. He's making it happen. You don't have the drawing equipment in order to start working on art? Get the cheaper versions. You don't need the most expensive pieces. You want to get into leatherworking? You can do so with like a hole punch and a thicker needle that you can get at Walmart for fairly cheap. You don't need the expensive shit right out the gate. You can start practicing with cheap stuff. You can practice with homemade stuff in order to make it work. These are literally, these tools that he's holding right now are like friggin' 25, like $1.50, $2 sometimes. And all he did was throw him up against a sander, got him into the right shape. Y'all can make this stuff happen.
The copper. And also... Pay attention! Ow. So anyways, I'm going to take the modified screwdrivers and start gently tapping, doing my best to slightly overlap each dent so it doesn't just create a buttload of individual dents, but one continuous line. Which I'm not doing very well at, but this is just a test. The main problems I came...
I mean, that looked pretty half decent already.
Which I'm not doing very well at, but this is just a...
That looked pretty fucking half decent, I'm not gonna lie. I like that.
Test. The main problems I came up against was...
I will say... Back it up. We want to take a look at that again. I will say that I can see what he's talking about. The ridge here is very, like, wiggly, I guess, going all the way up. I kind of like that because it gives it more of, like, a natural feel to it. Stems aren't exactly, like, perfectly straight. They're not this, like, jagged, though, so I can understand the apprehension. Plus, in a few spots here, like right up here, it looks a little too machined. Now, I think that could be just an issue of, like, he's not used to using the tools. He's still learning. This is literally his first try, or his first kick at the cat, specifically. So, we'll have to see.
Test. The main problems I came up against was the piece moving around and having to put the hammer down to then reposition the screwdriver in between each tap. Also, the wood was denting behind the copper, creating low spots that would eventually increase the likelihood of punching or tearing through. So to remedy all of those problems, I went ahead and purchased...
Was that Brad's sister? Brad, why do you keep popping up in my videos? Stop it.
A chunk of vulcanized rubber. So no more denting. And tape.
Like that.
So no more moving. The rubber bloke did move just a tiny bit, but it wasn't enough to make me have to readjust everything like I did before after every tap. Once all the lines were put in, I busted out a few of my small dapping punches because we are now
dabbing. I'm
going to flip the leaf over and dent in the areas in between the lines we just put in. Typically you would do the repoussé first, followed by the chasing, so I'm kind of doing things backwards, but my brain's on backwards, so I feel it's appropriate. Man, look at the abs on this leaf.
Kind of looks like a bug shell.
This works. This technique, I think, is what I'm looking for. So... let us do the real leaf. I found that after laying in the initial pat...
Honestly, this sounds like it would be very, like, therapeutic. Just tap, 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 tap. It's very... Put on a good show in the background. Have a nice little workstation set up. And just tap away.
I could just go back over, deepening the lines much quicker since there's now essentially a track for the screwdriver to follow. And you can make pretty dadgum smooth curves if you just move forward a tiny bit after each tap as you go around them. You'll notice the paper You'll notice the paper peeling up. That only happened on the ones where I didn't remove the protective coating before gluing the pattern on. It wasn't a problem, as it only happened after going over the area, and by that point I no longer needed the lines to follow. It did, however, make removing the pattern incredibly easy. But for the others, it wasn't a big deal either, as you can just remove that by soaking them in some acetone. Another thing I noticed was that while doing the Rapusi, it started to add a gentle curve or cupping to the backside of the leaf, which was an unintended benefit because leaves are very rarely perfectly flat.
They're almost never. If you pick up a leaf outside right now, like, chance if you have access to any leaves, looking outside, the only thing I got is pine needles. But yeah, like these kinds of leaves, they usually are cupped.
Wow, that looks great.
It
Okay,
does.
now that we have our leaves and petals done, look at how shiny. I want to do
Very
something
shiny.
with this, which I forget what it's actually called, but it's at the base
Sepal?
of the flower. It has a little green cocoon that encases it, and that splits apart, and then the flower petals open from the top. So this...
I never remember that part whenever I draw a rose. I never remember that part. Huh. I should try to remember that part.
is a, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is a doming block I got from, I think, Harbor Freight. It was not expensive. And basically it just creates little domes or hemispheres. Yeah, so I'm going to put this on here. And then I'm going to use one of these and bong, and bing bong.
Bing bong!
Bang.
Bada bop boom pow.
Right?
Wait, that's the actual meme? That's the whole meme? I've only ever seen like that last like half a second. I've never seen the bada bing boom pow.
The center, and that should pooch out this spot and make it kind of like, I don't know, its belly button. And that's why I made this hole smaller than the others, is because when you do that, it will make that hole bigger. And I think that will look nice. To add some pressure around the edges to keep everything flat, I just took a large socket I had laying around, put it on top, and that way I can put the punch in the center, hammer it down, and immediately tear through the side, ruining it.
Yay!
Excellent. Perfect. I'm guessing, the wrong sized either punch or hole, either whatever. I didn't leave it enough room. It's too close to the size of the hole. So let's try that again, but with more room around the balls. Round 2.
Yes, he had to actually go and, rebuild the whole damn thing. Whoop. Oh, look at that. It's so pretty.
Well, that worked much better. I also went ahead and bing-bonged each leaf in the center to add a little cupping action so it wasn't so flat. Like that.
Nice.
Dude, check
Looks like a little starfish. Wait, what's that?
this guy out.
What is it?
It's some kind of animalcule with a whole bunch of dead bugs on its back.
The hell?
Kind of reminds me of the junk lady from Labyrinth, but instead of junk, it's corpses.
There's also a D&D creature. That's like that. I believe it's called a corpse collector. Give me a moment. And corpse collector. Corpse collector. Yeah, it's a big construct thing that goes around and collects corpses and throws it on spikes on its back. I played a D&D game where we had to fight one of these. He grabbed my character and yeeted me onto its back, and I spent half an entire combat, a war-style combat, by the way, so there was a lot of shit happening at all times, pinned to this thing's back. It was great. I got to do a lot of stuff in this fight. Bring out your dead! Bring out the dead!
You know, we could learn a thing or two from the animals, if we'd only listen. The next thing I'm going to do is concentrate on the stem and branches. So, this is the thickest stuff I could find. I wanted to get thicker because...
Here's a little poop there. Wait.
Oh, this is the thickest stuff I could find. I wanted to get thicker because of one of the next steps we'll be doing, which is actually, we're gonna carve this. So it's not just gonna remain stock
You're carving the wire?
straight and the exact same thickness all the way down, because that's not the way a real
Yeah, back to the stem thing, right?
rows is. So first thing we need to do is decide on how long we want our stem. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off at 17. And then this is what I'm gonna make the branches out of. It's just regular home electrical wire that we will strip the insulation from and then set aside, because the first thing we need to do is straighten the stem section so that it will.
If you don't want to go to a Hobby Lobby and spend a crap load of money on, craft copper wire and that sort of thing, you could always go to a hardware store and just buy a bunch of, electrical wire. As long as it's not plugged into something, it's not going to give a charge. And you got yourself a bunch of copper line.
Be easier to mark the locations of where we want to put the branches. I went with 3 1/4 inches from the top, then 2 1/8, and then another 2 5/8 inch down from that. Then I decided a secure way to attach the branches was to first find a drill bit the same diameter or slightly larger than the electrical wire. Then securely holding the thicker wire in my vise, I first make a shallow divot.
That feels so unsafe for some reason to me. I don't know why, it just feels very unsafe.
So there's now a ledge for the bit to drill in at an angle and immediately break off below the surface. This is actually an important part of the process, so be sure not to skip it. Once extracted, I continued being careful not to
He broke the bit off.
drill all the way through. Also, the reason for the drilling at an angle is that branches rarely grow at a right angle from the central stem, and I don't want it to look stupid. Now that the hills are drilled, we can move on to the carving. Taking one of my tungsten carbide burrs, I start carving material close to the top of the hole, removing less as I get closer to the end. What I'm going for is a slight flare or widening as it gets closer to where the flower is. Also, the stem is currently upside down. Well, I decided that method was a little too hard to control, so I moved over to the edge of my belt sander. It not only creates a better finish, but it doesn't grab the copper like the burr tends to do.
That makes sense.
And you'll notice I'm removing more in between the holes, because the holes are where the internodes are, which is usually going to be a little thicker than the rest of the stem. Okay, see, now we've got our stem and focus.
Focus.
It's got the little knobs on each intersection, and
when he said he was going to carve it, I was expecting he was going to be doing, like, some really wonky work with that thing, because this guy's done some weird carving shit. But that makes a lot more sense, using, like, a belt sander for that sort of job, and then just kind of, like, removing a little bit in order to give it kind of like a taper to it. There's the Duke I know. Never mind, this is not the Duke I know.
I want to give it a
little bastard. Why?
Hammered finish, because right now it kind of has that sandpaper texture on it. And I'm going to use this cute, adorable little blacksmithing anvil that was given to me by Paul Pinto. I'm going to use the curved end, and I'm going to whack it all over.
Whack
ding,
it.
ding, all the way down to add little
ding,
dents,
ding. Bing, bong,
you can use different hammers, like a ball peen or whatever. Okay, now that we've got our little
that looks so pretty.
Covered in...
Man, let's go back frame by frame. Like, as it's turning around, like, the light's catching all those little divots and all that. It's so pretty. It, like, makes it sparkly. Look at that. That's so cool. That's so cool. I don't know what kind of word I just tried to make there.
Covered in nipples. Let's shift our focus to making the branches. Okay, so the leaf configuration is a personal choice, but personally I think laying them out like this looks pretty personal. Once you like how they look, leave them that way until we're done with the next step. For 3 bunches of leaves, the way I have it, you're going to want to cut 4 lengths of wire at the lengths you desire. Taking the fourth bit left over on the end, I held it slightly past the end of the leaf and marked the other side slightly past as well. This is what we'll be using to connect the leaves to the stem. But before cutting the sections off, go ahead and mark the center in between the lines, which will then be used as a guide to not only bend them slightly, like this, but we're going to then take a diamond burr and carve in a little divot about halfway through that's the same diameter as the wire. Like that. Now you can cut them off and then repeat with the rest of them. Okay, now that we have all of our little pieces created, we're going to need to solder them together. And to do that, I'm going to use some solder, some flux. Flux is basically like an acid that cleans the surface of the copper so that the solder will flow into the crevices and all that good stuff. I'm also going to...
Just every time he burps, it just throws me off. You know, I've actually been wanting to know how to solder for a very long time. And that actually was the first time, despite me working in a place where I was actually watching people doing professional welding constantly. That's the first time I've actually gotten an answer on how welding works. That makes a little bit of sense.
I'm going to use a little hand torch. Oh. So this stuff is called rock wool. It's basically fiberglass made with rock. So I'm going to start with this one, I guess, first. Make sure everything's clean. I'm just going to lay it upside down like that. And then we're going to get one of our pieces that we cut earlier. And basically, I'm going to lay everything in position, but I'm going to use rock wool to sort of prop everything up at the right level, because right now it's a little bit not at the right level. Once everything is positioned the way we want, I start by heating everything up a little bit with the torch so that when I add the flux, it flows into all the crevasses. Now the fun part.
That makes sense. That doesn't sound like it's too difficult, honestly. Very simple.
I concentrate the heat on the joint until the flux starts to boil. Then gently touch the solder onto it. It should flow into wherever the flux was, filling all the gapes. Without the flux, it would just bead up on the surface and you would accomplish nothing. Dang! Look at that. Looks pretty good.
Look very pretty.
Look at the colors in there. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, when you heat up copper and all that, like specific metals, that actually changes color, right? That's cool.
Anyways, now that that's done, we're gonna do the other things. Like bending the main stem section into the shape we want. I'm going for a natural look with some subtle direction changes at each internode. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and bend the branches to give them a bit of a downward curve.
Remember, copper is a very soft metal, so it's very malleable. Don't even need to heat it. Just bend it.
And then cut them to length. It's also a good idea to go ahead and test fit everything before we move to final assembly time, and that time is now. You definitely want to have it secured in something like a vise or a clamp for the next part, which is I start by placing the star-shaped leaf thing on top, leaving about a ½ inch of wire protruding. Then I added some flux, heated it up, and soldered like we did the leaves. Next, I went ahead and placed each branch in their respective hole, making sure they all look good before soldering them in as well. Now that the stem assembly has been complete, you're going to want to shave your hair into a mohawk, because you were having a crappy day and changing your appearance makes me feel slightly better for some reason.
Okay, hold on. I got you, boo. It's not a mohawk. But I can go egg. Have a good night there, Ginger. I can go egg. Not a mohawk. I can go egg.
Then go into the garage and start recording while still being mad, because shaving your hair didn't actually make you feel any better.
Oh.
Of course, a jet. Of course. No. After you.
Oh, a jet is flying above his head. It's barely audible, honestly. honestly just sounds like ambient noise.
Do you ever feel like it's all just stupid and meaningless? Me
Sometimes.
neither. Anyways, we've finished the rose to this point, and it looks really nice and shiny and coppery colored. But before we put on the top flower portion, I want to change the color of this so it will contrast. And I'm gonna use something called liver of sulfur. And yeah,
Sulfur has liver? Does sulfur have a liver?
yes, it smells even better than it sounds, and it
Oh yeah, sulfur doesn't smell great. And if you're looking at its liver, like, oh. Hopefully it wasn't an alcoholic.
It sounds delicious. The way we use this stuff is to take a scale that's accurate up to 3 decimal places and carefully measure out a totally random quantity because the information I found seems to be kind of all over the place with regards to the ratio.
Yay!
This is what it looks like, by the way. Then I went ahead and crushed it into a coarse powder so it would dissolve quicker in the water. And the water you need to use is distilled because tap has minerals in it that can react negatively with the solution.
Yeah, I'm so annoyed about that. Why is... It's always distilled water. It always has to be distilled water because minerals and stuff like that. Can I just put normal water into shit?
Ask me how I know. After thoroughly dissolving in the powder, I dunked the entire thing in so it would create an even and flawless patina, which didn't work at all because it ended up being patchy and inconsistent. I think what happened is I didn't clean it quite well enough, which inhibited some areas from reacting. In the end, what did end up working was individually painting it onto each leaf until the desired color was reached, then rinsing
really
immediately to stop the reaction. It was very tedious, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, so I think it was worth it.
It's kind of like a bluish black. It's neat.
Once dry, I buffed everything lightly with some quadruple-aught steel wool to bring back the luster, aka make it sparkly glowy unicorn rainbow.
Yay.
Everything I'm about to do, you can skip if you like just the plain bare copper color, which I love that color. But I've learned recently that you can color copper using heat. Also, what's really cool is depending on how hot it gets will determine what color it becomes. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about with a little demonstration. Well, unfortunately, my stupid camera didn't want to focus, but you can see that I'm quickly blasting it with the torch until I just start to see some color before stopping. What's interesting is I was actually kind of unimpressed until I flipped it over. Oh, that's awesome. Dude, look at that.
Kinda
It's
like
like a freaking rainbow.
Yeah.
So now that we know it works, let's attempt to do it to the petals. Oh, I'm nervous. Please don't mess up.
I fully understand. I've had friends who are scared to paint minis that they get from Hero Forge, for instance, because they're worried they're going to mess it up, right? Well, here's the thing with painting miniatures. You can always repaint them. Like, you could just remove the paint, retry. I don't think you get a do-over with this. And if you do it real wrong, the whole metal will probably just snap.
All right, here we go. Okay.
Okay, that was cool.
All right,
That first initial one,
here we go.
where comes down and then hits it with the heat, and then this just like radiation of orange just getting pushed right out. That's so cool. I love that. Boom.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. And it's starting
That's
to curl a
freaking
little.
cool. Well,
Neat.
it's not as even as I would like.
Yeah, you're going to be very hard pressed to get that even, bud.
Dang it. That didn't do what I was hoping. Why is it splotchy? I thought I could just start in the center and it would radiate out evenly. Well, poop sock. I think I'm getting it too hot, maybe. Yeah, that sucks. Maybe a heat gun? I'm gonna try a heat gun. Where's my heat gun?
Heat gun.
First you don't succeed. Try again.
Dang. Well, maybe I won't be using a heat gun. Oh, I will be
Hey, Speech. How you doing? We're watching a video of a guy trying to make a copper rose.
using a heat gun.
And I'm an egg.
Well, if it's broken, then I won't be using a heat gun. Let's
Well.
see. A heat gun's just like a turbo blow dryer.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, so second one, but with a heat gun, hopefully I can control the temperature a little more precisely, hopefully. Yes, I think this is working. Okay, yeah, that
Ooh.
worked way better.
Yeah, I guess it would be a more even heat, right? And it's also going, like, very slow. So I guess it's working. Ah, Isaac! Okay, that's looking so pretty, though. Look at that.
Bro.
Dude. Look at that.
Cool.
That's copper. Hi.
I know this looks a little weird, but it's the only way I could clamp this thing without damaging the leaves. So basically,
Fair.
not even basically, actually, this is the last step before the last step. So secure it and clamp it. Then we're going.
Oh, I just... Get back into focus there, you. I just noticed. He's got it clamped up here. Oh, never mind. He is only clamping it, like, right in this spot. I thought he was, like... He had a clamp here that was kind of, like, holding this branch here up. But no. It's just clamp up here, and this clamp is holding this clamp onto the desk. Very curious.
We're going to stack all the petals
Whee!
from largest to smallest onto the metal shafticle,
Whee!
and then we're going
Metal
to peen
shafticle.
using a ball peen hammer to basically smoosh the top bit until it locks those petals in place and they cannot come back off.
Wow. That's so pretty. I like
Yeah.
this one a lot. That's so pretty, Dad.
It kind of
Silence! No one wants to hear you speak.
Debatable.
Thank you, Lila, for the kind words.
Oh,
I
fair
love
enough.
you.
the last step, and that.
Oh, I see what happened. She was complimenting it, and he was doing what most artists do, and goes in and is like, I agree, but like, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem, blah, 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 blah. Oh, hi, Selma. This is a problem. And he was very much just telling himself, hey, shut the hell up. Also, I can't hear you. I got mid. Why can't you hear? That's not good.
Step is.
But yeah, what he did there was he was telling himself, hey, stop talking down about your work. You did great. It's fine. Your daughter liked it. I liked it. It's all good. There's nothing wrong with doing that, by the way. Like, if you, as an artist, you will always see faults in your own work, even if other people see the good in it. Just make sure that you got sound. Hell yeah. Just make sure that when you actually are looking at the bad, take note of the good. If you ignore the good all the time, you're not going to improve. You're just going to get yourself into a slump. If you always focus on the bad, but if you are focusing on the bad but can recognize the good, you can then realize, okay, I did this part really good. I could work on this part. Start trying to figure out how to actually find a good way to, keep moving forward. And then you'll just keep getting better. Your PC is fixed. Hell yeah, Selma. I figured as much. I'm excited. We're going to get more Selma streams soon.
We need to bend all of these petals into position.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we're going to do that is by bending the central...
Oh, that is nerve-wracking. Oh, that's nerve-wracking. Because remember, copper, like we said before, is extremely soft. and he's also, heated them up a bunch and smashed them a bunch. If he does this too much, if he bends them too much, it's very possible they could just snap.
3 smallest petals upward. Then using a pair of pliers, I have these like soft jaw ones so that it doesn't scratch the metal, curl the sides of each petal in towards the center, or sort of bend them into roughly a C shape. Like that. Now we'll squish them all together while slightly twisting each petal the same direction so that they overlap. You want this part fairly compact to sort of simulate the center.
I've done copper and heating, and that was freaky. Straight up. I didn't realize this was Bobby. Oh, you didn't realize this was Bobby Duke. Oh, yeah.
Center of the rose where the petals
Thank you. Speech, you are the first person in chat, by the way, to recognize Bobby Duke.
have not opened yet. Now, for the next set of petals, we're going to start by doing the same thing, curl into a C shape, twist, and overlap. But this time, we're going to bend the outer edges of each
You used to beat up copper in order to put pretty images into it? Ooh, that sounds fun.
petal downward slightly, giving them that classic rose look. Then gently squeeze them together so that they sort of interlock. Like that. Exact same thing with the next layer, but when we start to work on the outer edges, we're going to bend them down mostly on the sides so that it leaves a sort of rough point in the center. Right there. And we're going to do exactly the same thing for the rest, but as we go out, we're going to exaggerate that point on the outer edge a little more each time. And while you watch me finish, I want to let you all know that I will be attending both Makers Central the 16th and 17th of May in Birmingham, England, and
Birmingham, England? Jolly good, sir.
and Open Sauce July 17th through the 19th in San Francisco, California, and I would love to see you guys there. So if you can swing
You will not see me there. Unfortunately, I will not be able to swing a England trip.
it, please consider going. Both events are incredibly fun for the entire family and worth traveling to. Okay, now that all
Yeah, but I can't
4.6
swing that.
million of you have promised me to come to one of those events so you can give me the highest of fives,
I did? Sorry, y'all going with me, apparently. Not even for your wife's and my wedding in the Highlands. Selma, you're going to have to foot the bill. Yeah, take your time there, Speech.
I think you know what happens
It's Brad's sister again.
next. Hey guys, they're finished. Because I ended
Wait,
up making 2 so I could give 1 to my wife, but I forgot to record her reaction, so I asked her to fake it. I just pull it out. Here we go.
Oh. Oh my god.
staged! That's so staged!
Sorry. Great job, honey. I'm convinced.
Also, that is such a good puppo. This puppo is such a wonderful puppo. Only for Star? No. We're a package deal. You have to buy us both flights. Sorry, you don't have to foot the bill. Thank you, pupper. Wait, what did it say? Okay, now here are the finished roses. There we go.
So if you would like to be given this exact rose as a gift from me to you, all you gotta do is sign up for any one of my Patreon tiers and then leave a comment under the post about this rose letting me know what sort of thing or video you
Oh, I was
under the
writing there.
post about this rose.
Bare copper without heat coloring. Which one is your favorite, guys? Because, like, I'm not gonna lie, this one looks just like a freaking rose. This is like a straight up rose. But this one's really pretty altogether. Like, I really like this one. I don't know which one I'd like more. Heat, just for the reds. It's really nice reds. It really is really nice reds. I don't know. I like them both. This is really like shiny. Like, if you want to give them one and be like, here's a legitimate copper rose. And or you can be like, here's a copper rose that looks more like a rose. I don't fucking know, man. Obviously, you put more effort into this one. But, like, it's still pretty.
Letting me know what sort of thing or video you would like to see me make. And whoever I pick will be the wiener, and I will ship this to you anywhere in the world as a thank you, as a gift. And as an added bonus, depending on what tier you sign up for on Patreon, you may be given a sticker pack, a super sweet 3D printed cat dragon sea serpent thing that I sculpted.
Oh yeah, he sculpted this by hand, by the way. This isn't a 3D model. This was a sculpting by hand, which he then translated into a 3D space and then 3D printed. But he sculpted this thing by hand.
In another video, and I'll leave a link down in the description for that. And while we're on the subject, I want to give a huge thank you to Joel, the 3D printing nerd. He's a good friend of mine and YouTuber, and he printed all of the cat dragon sea serpent things. Also, I made a video over at his place. I went to the land of Seattle, and we shot a video together kind of showing behind the scenes on how he prints all of these things. His facility, it's super cool. I highly recommend you go check it out. Anyways, this was a super fun project. I really want to see you guys try and make it. If you
List of tools and materials I use, link to everything that I can find in description. 24 gauge copper sheet. 4 gauge copper wire for main stem. 12 gauge wire for branches. Leaf and flower pattern. Spray adhesive CA glue. 1/8 inch MDF if cutting with scroll saw. Scroll saw with multi-purpose blade or tinstas. By the way, if you do not have a scroll saw for this kind of job, you can do the exact same job with a hacksaw, like one of those like little C-shaped saws with a really thin blade. Yeah, you can use one of those. Scroll saw with multi-purpose blade or tin snips. The banana hat. The banana hat is non-optional. A drill, cross peen hammer, ball peen hammer. You could probably get away with actually just like normal hammers for both, but these hammers are not exactly like expensive to get. Measuring tape, you can get that at Dollarama. Packaging tape, you can get that at any kind of like, what's it called? Well, you can get that at Walmart or something. Jack, I'm doing something here. Stop being loving. Gremlin. A butane torch. Tiger torch, you can get fairly cheap butane torches, I think, at some like hobby places or like, what are they called? Home hardware places. Wire brush or wire wheel for bench grinding. This one might be a little tricky, but like you said, a wire brush. You can get that for fairly cheap. Cloth and polishing compound or buffing wheel on bench grinder. 5.5 and 2mm drill bits. Drill bits are cheap. Liver of sulfur, no fucking clue. Distilled water, you can get that for like $2. Vulcanized rubber pad. Also, the distilled water is optional. That the distilled water and the liver of sulfur is only to give the copper this black tint. It's not needed. Could probably even like heat color it. Technically. Vulcanized rubber pad. Once again, that was so he was able to do the repousse and chasing. Irritable bowel syndrome. Some good old IBS. You can easily do that if you eat too much tomato. Modified screwdriver or chasing set. Once again, if you don't have a chasing set, you can easily get the screwdriver by taking a screwdriver, putting it against a sander. Get all the pointy bits off. Corners, edges, and stuff. Make it round. Dapping block with punch set. He said he was able to find this at like Harbor Freight for fairly cheap. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure you'd be able to, just kind of make it work in the same way that you did all the other punching. It would just take a little bit longer, and you might have a few extra mess ups. Solder and flux, once again, this isn't like overly expensive, and you should be able to just go with whatever level it is. Talk to a hardware person, you'd be able to get everything figured out that way. Just be like, I'm trying to weld copper together. What would I want for that? Rotary carver or Dremel. Once again, you shouldn't need that specifically. It just makes it easier. Once again, tungsten carbide carving burrs. That sounds fancy. Once again, this is just extra tips for a Dremel. Diamond burrs, same thing. Sandpaper or sand belt. Belt sander is probably the best one, but sandpaper will do the job. Soft jaw needle nose pliers. Tools are cheap. Usually. Wire cutters, not too bad. Rock wool, no idea. That seems expensive. Well, this is what he's making. He made this thing. Like, you're able to make this thing. It's not going to be cheap, but you are able to cut down a lot on costs, is what I'm trying to say. And these are just all the tools he was able to use because he had most of these tools.
Tag me in the pictures that you post of it. Also, leave a comment letting me know if you like this format of video. I'm just trying something new. And I never asked this, but would you subscribe? That would be cool, Subscriber numbers don't really matter so much on YouTube anymore, but at least you'll have a better chance being shown my next video if you want to see it. So, thank you. I love you. And
goodbye. And these are all his Patreon. Road. No, it's his sister. It's Brad's sister. Anyway, so yeah, that's Bobby Duke. This was not the type of content that I'm usually used to him doing. He usually does more like shitposty style videos, but he wanted to go more in depth for like a tutorial style, which I actually really like. I really do like the fact that he actually did more of a tutorial stuff. His normal videos are great, but they don't like go super involved in how he does it. It's more like a big shit post and showing, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I did. Here's a fart joke. And he kept that quite a bit for, throughout the entire video. It's just a little bit longer format, which, honestly, I appreciate. Anyway, that's Bobby Duke, everybody. What? Hey, did you enjoy that? Was it funny? Well, come and check it out live over on twitch.tv/freeform_art. Make sure you put the _art. We have lots of fun there. We enjoy ourselves, and we want to see you over there. So come on and hang out. See you in a bit.